Welcome to today's Flying Talkers podcast. We're glad that you are here. Today's program is brought to you by ATC. Always take care. At Munich, visit ATC. Ingo Zimmer, CEO ATC Aviation Services, leads into the big show at Air Cargo Europe in Hall A2. Booths 319/424, where the access for attendees will find the Frankfurt-based powerhouse comfortably situated in major space at the event, and as usual some stunning news. We are more than happy to welcome J. Florian Pfaff as an external advisor to ATC Aviation Services. With 35 years of international experience in the air cargo industry, Mr. Pfaff brings an impressive track record in sales operations, business development, and strategic partnerships. Throughout his career, he has been responsible for the markets Asia, Germany, Europe, Africa, as well as parts of North and Central America. Get to know the entire ATC team beginning June 2nd at Air Cargo Europe. And now today's Flying Talkers broadcast. Transport Logistic takes off June 2-5 at Munich Trade Centre. With Air Cargo Europe, the icing on a giant logistics confab as a partner event, which managed to combine different interests in logistics in order to attract large crowds from all over the world. No one is quite sure how much audience spillover occurs between the venues, which in the case of Air Cargo organizers claims more than 262 exhibitors from 46 countries in a gigantic venue of 15,000 meters. But one fact is undeniable: this is the world's biggest and most important logistics event. Whether you attend as a big company, small mom and pop outfit, or even if you are just going to walk around and take in the view, this combined event represents the marriage of the two most important logistics initiatives being celebrated in Germany. Hence the title of this editorial. For those who are not familiar with the jingle, let me borrow their intriguing explanation from the knot. The famous wedding recipe comes from the Old English rhyme: something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. A sixpence in your shoe. All of these objects were seen as a must for brides to incorporate into their wedding dresses or carry with them on their wedding day. Why? Well, it all comes down to luck. People believed the items would bring good and happy marriages. According to Reader's Digest, the rhyme came about in the Victorian era from Lancashire, a county in England. Most of the ingredients in the rhyme are meant to ward off the evil eye, which, according to Reader's Digest, was a curse passed through a malicious glare that could make a bride infertile. So in some comfortable shoes, stop the bean counting and jump into the packed trade show floors for as much of this event as you can weather. And remember, it may be a marriage of interests. On June 3rd, DSLV, the Freight Forwarding and Logistics Association in Germany, will hold a session moderated by Frank Huster, DSLV's DG, and long-standing member of FIATA and CLICAT. The session proclaims its focus to be about ESG regulations, such as the European CSR and CSDD directives and the EU taxonomy, are imposing increasing demands on the industry. Low thresholds and trickle-down effects of the market are also increasing pressure on medium-sized freight forwarding companies, which must disclose sustainability measures and absorb the additional costs for reporting obligations and CO2 monitoring. Beware, the meeting is held in German. Hence you may wish to refresh your Goethe. Other reasons why you may wish to visit Munich are abundant in span culture, food, architecture, and even football. Let me stick to music for one sufficient bite. This is the city where Karl Orff was born on July 10, 1895. He is the artist who gave the world the famous Carmina Burana. This cantata combines spirit, earthly pleasures, inspiration, devotion and cunning, in a way that perfectly reflects the spirit of Munich from my point of view. This week's Transport Logistic and Air Cargo Europe can rightfully be counted as number 1 and 2 in the world in terms of importance. And yet it is profoundly European. A certain element speaks for itself. In 2023 these were the top countries by number of attendees: 1. Austria 2. Italy 3. Netherlands 4. Poland 5. Switzerland 6. France 7. Great Britain 8. Czech Republic 9. Belgium 10. Turkey, despite its European location and flair, ACE is unquestionably a trendsetter in air cargo globally, and this is why we think it is always worth a visit. For folks that think they can do without the trade show floor crush and may pursue other interests in Munich, Air Cargo Europe will feature several sessions, yet rarely much emerges from these encounters. So you should not feel guilty if you prefer to mingle with the locals in more central areas of the Bavarian metropole. That is not to say that 2025 couldn't be different. Perhaps a closer look at the program is required. Casting an eye to the trailers reveals the unhidden ambition of the trade show in 2025. Representatives of the complete air freight industry meet at Air Cargo Europe. The exhibitor directory provides a complete overview of the exhibiting companies. Here is a session rundown. Speaking of something new, let's look at the PR provided for the press. At an international level, the world of logistics is preoccupied with global supply chains in transition, BVL. Developments such as My Nation First, anti-globalization, trade wars, hot wars, club of logistics, and future of air freight and freighters. The continuing wave of insolvencies is causing concern for SMEs. The Federal Association of Freight Transport and Logistics, BGL, will provide a status report on this, while the Workers' Rundschau will pose the question: medium-sized transport companies, phased-out model for the future? The Expert Council on Digital Transformation in Transport and Logistics will discuss how freight forwarders are mastering change in a panel. Key players from business and research will comment on market developments, including major brands such as IKEA, Alfred Karcher, Andreas Schmid, Logistic, and VDO/Continental. One expects these to be new topics and concerns. But in reality, is it not always the same history repeating? For those who have studied the history of trade, the picture is clear. After the industrial revolutions in the 18th and 19th centuries, much of today's debate was already on the tables then. In the 21st century, we drive faster, but even technology, in particular IT and AI, which have become so invasive in our lives, was on top of the social debate then. Luddites were afraid that machines would substitute human work, and at various degrees that debate was real, even if you were no extremist. Similarly, today we are afraid that AI will make us all redundant. Is it really different? It has always been about embracing change and the speed at which change can happen without creating disasters. We can only hope we have learned from past lessons to manage our future more successfully than in past instances. On June 2nd at 14:30 in Forum Hall A1, again you get something that is old and new at the same time: combating greenwashing in air cargo to ensure a sustainable People, Planet, Profit future launches the ACE session effort in cooperation with Women in Aviation and Logistics, WAL, created by the consultancy group Change Horizon and Meantime Communications. Not much advanced content detail for this session is available aside from the descriptive greenwashing moniker that describes when companies choose to not communicate their sustainability efforts. Greenwashing in 2008 was advanced as a word by brand strategist Jerry Stifelman and writer Sammy Grover in a blog post, now inaccessible, for Treehugger.com. You would think from arm's length here, with sustainability on nearly everyone's mind, as result in no small part from the blizzard of sessions at events driving the sustainability anthem. That just maybe an attention malaise might also be advanced in some manner by subject overkill and fatigue. Hopeful that something new might develop here. So stay tuned. Note as this is written on May 21 is saying no new postings on WAL website about anything for the past 2 years. Here are some other sessions at ACE 2025 that we consider to be mixing old and new in a way to attract audience. Tuesday, June 3rd, 10 to 11 o'clock in Forum Hall A2, Artificial Intelligence, What is in it for air cargo? Wednesday, June 4th, 10 to 11 o'clock in Forum Hall A1, Future of Air Freight and Freighters. Wednesday, June 4th, 13:30 to 14:30 Forum Hall A1, Unlocking the Future, AI, Automation and Digitalization in Air Cargo, Coming to Something Borrowed. Maybe we can borrow some of the knowledge that originates from the distinguished speakers. As we know only too well, knowledge is the only resource that grows as it is being shared, unlike other ones which diminish and eventually come to an end. More power to their elbows. These are the leaders that we need to listen to. Honestly, we prefer to leave the reference to something blue for you to find out for yourselves when you transit the spacious galleries of Messe Munich. But the Munich Blue Line can become an inspiring diversion. If you do not want to spend the entire duration of your stay in the halls of the exhibition. Now we come to the end of our rhyme and we must deal with the sixpence piece. Well, the Künstliche Intelligenz, i.e. artificial intelligence in German attire, comes diligently to your aid to inform you that, alas, the British sixpence coin is not in use in Germany. As Germany switched to the euro before experiencing a not-so-trouble-free transition from Reichsmark to the Deutsche Mark. The euro came last, but using a 6-cent coin is not an option as it does not exist. AI uses a rather mysterious tone of regret and compunction. As if it was afraid of hurting my feelings of British nostalgia for the inexistent tanner. Declared defunct in 1971. Somehow the BOT must have learnt that humans are susceptible entities. You have no sixpence piece at hand? This does not mean that you must run away empty-handed. The Messe Munich area just hosted the world's celebrated numismata in March. Who knows? Perhaps one of the British regulars could have dropped his or her silver collector's tanner. The sixpence coin was minted between 1551 and 1947. So there must still be some of them in some unheated drawer somewhere. If you happen to find one, you can end today's rhyme with ample success and make your visit to Munich completely fertile, as even the slightest malicious frown will be averted, and unforgettable. That's our program for today. For your time this time until next time, thanks for listening and good night Joe wherever you are.